Oopsie doopsie, Marvel, you made a little tiny mistake. You lied, and we caught you, and now we will laugh because that's what we do on the channel. By the way, if you're having a good time, I'm really thankful you're here. If you are not yet, please do consider subscribing. The lower button, the lower right on the screen below. Holy cow, did any of that words make sense? There's a subscribe button right below the video to the right. Please click that. I would greatly appreciate it. You get actually notified of my videos. Now, we all know that Disney and to the same extent Marvel, they love the China bucks. And so far, there's been many disastrous attempts to chase the China buck, as we saw with Mulan being completely ignored by China, and Disney had counted on that greatly, filming much of it there, right outside of concentration camps, but whatever, and China rejected that film. We see Disney constantly bending the knee when it comes to Tibet. Removing the Tibetan flag from the back of a jacket in Top Gun 2 to do what? Appease China. See, what we have to do, what we have to continue to do here in the United States is when we find out that they do this kind of stuff, no matter how small it is, we don't see the movie. We don't give them our money. If you want the China buck so bad, go ahead. Hopefully they'll see it twice. I don't think they will, but that's what you get. When you modify Western cinema to appease them, I'm out. And to be honest with you, in terms of Top Gun, like, that's an iconic piece of the film. It's on his jacket. It's not like they made a small dialogue change. We've seen them, obviously, we've talked about many times how Disney and Marvel like to hide their blacks because China is racist, and they don't care. I mean, they're diverse and inclusive here in the West, but in their boardroom, they just don't really care. They want that money. Now, IGN put out this tweet. Kevin Feige said not casting an Asian actor or actress as the Ancient One in Doctor Strange was a, quote, wake-up call. This is a lie. They did not cast an Asian actor or actress because the Ancient One is Tibetan. And even Tibet knew. Tibet supporters protest Marvel's Doctor Strange over changed characters. They believe gaining the Chinese government's approval was the biggest factor behind not casting the Ancient One as Tibetan. Now, this isn't to disparage what is her name? Her name's like Tilda or something like that. Whatever her performance was fine. But you see a group of Tibetan supporters of Tibetans and supporters of Tibet are planning a silent protest outside the Manhattan movie theater Thursday night to criticize a film's decision to have an actress, Tilda Swinton, play the character in the movie Doctor Strange, which opens in the U.S. this week. Jurgen Bodestang, campaign director for Students for Free Tibet, told NBC News that the protest was expected to gather outside the theater around 6:30. But here's the thing. Swinton's role drew attention earlier in the year when the film's screenwriter, C. Robert Cargill, discussed the nuances of casting a character during a, quote, during the Double Toasted podcasts. He originates from Tibet, Cargill said in the podcast. By the way, they had to gender swap too, but I mean, whatever, that's common. So if you acknowledge that Tibet is a place and that he's Tibetan, you risk alienating 1 billion people who think that that's BS and risk the Chinese government saying, hey, you know how one of the biggest film watching countries, you know how we're one of the biggest film watching countries in the world? We're not going to show your movie because you decided to get political. China has the second largest box office in the world, according to The Hollywood Reporter. Cargill later told the New York Times that he wasn't speaking for Marvel when he made these remarks. Of course he was. Of course. God, that Chenk impression never gets old. Relations have long been strained between China and Tibet, which China invaded in 1950. While Tibet became an autonomous region, Tibetans have claimed persistent political and religious persecution at the hands of the Chinese government, a charge Beijing has denied. Of course, they're lying. You could look at how they treat Hong Kong, too. So we know that Marvel purposely cast a white lady because it would make it clear that the Ancient One was not Tibetan. You could see in the IGN tweet about it, many people obviously understanding the situation. I'm beyond tired of everything being about race and color. And if an actor and actress did a great job, who cares what race or color they are or could have been? I don't go to see a movie just because someone is white, black, or Asian. Well, you're what they call normal. Always white people who say this. You don't get why it's a big deal because you've had representation your whole life, says a anime avatar. No disrespect to anime avatars, but you're probably white too. The thing is, these people think this is like a race swap issue, but it's actually not. This is Disney getting caught, you know, lying, Kevin Feige lying about why they really didn't cast an Asian person for that role. You could see here on Bounding into Comics. Did Kevin Feige just lie about the Ancient One casting Doctor Strange while promoting Shang-Chi? Marvel Studios boss Kevin Feige might have just stuck his foot in his mouth as he delves further into identity politics and critical race theory when it comes to casting in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. In a recent interviews with Men's Health, about the upcoming Shang-Chi and the Legends of the Ten Rings, which nobody cares about, Feige discussed the casting of Tilda Swinton as the Ancient One in Doctor Strange. Men's Health writer Evan Romano claims Feige expressed regret when he stated, "We thought we were being so smart, so cutting edge," in reference to Swinton's casting. What's cutting edge about it? We're not going to do the cliche of the wizened old Asian man. Why is it, you know what the thing is like, so your cliche is a white chick then? Like, no, the cliche is that all you see is the color of people's skins. But it was a wake-up call to say, wait a minute, is there another way to figure this out? Is there any other way to both not fall into the cliche and cast an Asian actor? I mean, you could just cast an old Asian man. They're literally called the Ancient One. And the answer of that is, of course, yes. This is in direct contrast to what the Doctor Strange writer, Robert Cargill, admitted about the casting. They already knew. The thing about the Ancient One is that it's Marvel's Kobayashi Maru. There is no other character in Marvel history that is such a cultural landmine. That is absolutely unwinnable. He went on, I've been reading a bunch of people talking about it, and it's really frustrating about this week is most of the people who have thoughts on it haven't thought it all the way through. Why didn't they just do that? And it's like, I could tell you why. I could tell you why every single decision that involves the Ancient One is a bad one. And just like the Kobayashi Maru, it all comes down to which way you're willing to lose. Well, they just picked the money, right? He went on to detail that Marvel recognized the Ancient One as being from Tibet, as he is in the comics. You risk alienating China. Cargill explained, the Ancient One was a racist stereotype when it comes from the region of the world that is a very weird political place. He originates from Tibet, so if you acknowledge that Tibet is a place that he's Tibetan, you risk alienating 1 billion people. But I thought you cared about diversity and inclusion. I thought you cared about people. I thought you cared about righting wrongs, Disney. So you're siding with China? Stunning and brave. At risk of the Chinese government saying, yeah, we're not going to do this, Cargill even discussed the idea of potentially casting Michelle Yeoh, I don't know who that is, if we decided to go the other way and cater to China in particular and have him be in Tibet. The thing that makes me pull my hair out is some people are like, why not cast Michelle? Well, first of all, Michelle is awesome. I would love to make a film with Michelle. If you're telling me that you think it's a good idea to cast a Chinese actress as a Tibetan character, you are out of your fool mind and have no idea what the F you're talking about. Yeah, but you're full of God. It's just incorrect. If you're worried about casting the wrong type of Asian, then why did you cast a white person? The levels of cultural sensitivity around this thing is that everyone is staking out. No. Here's the sensitivity. China. Screw China. I don't care. The people in the West support Tibet. I don't understand what you mean. Just like we support Hong Kong. So who exactly is worried about this? The Chinese overlords. That doesn't sound like that Marvel thinking they were smart and being cutting edge, but rather they were trying to placate the Chinese people and the communist government. For that matter, a gender swap and race swap is not cutting edge. It's the opposite. It's a dull blade because it's the most boring thing out of all the Hollywood tricks. Regardless, it's clear that Feige is telling a different story than Cargill, and he might just have been caught with his foot in his mouth. Of course. The report from Variety detailed that China's CCTV movie did not... We're talking about how China doesn't like Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. I don't care. Like, I literally couldn't care less if China doesn't like a movie. Disney works for the West. And if they want to cater to China, then go ahead and make Chinese films. Move everything to China and just be done with it already. Because I'm not supporting a company that makes decisions like this. I'm not supporting giving you my money. Now, I'm still going to watch the movie occasionally, but you're not going to get any money from me for it. So I guess that's the alternative, right? You can alienate the Chinese, or you can alienate the people that built your entire company up long before you ever had access to the Chinese box office. You can leave the West as a forgotten territory, and that's fine. We'll move on to find other things to fill our time, to find entertaining than the prototypical or formulaic Marvel films. Now, just no disrespect to Shang-Chi. I mean, if people are excited about this film, good for them. The Eternals, again, I'm sure the fan is excited for it, but they could just cater to Americans, not just Americans, but the West. The West pretty much all agree, that, Tibet, that acknowledging, nobody in the West would be frustrated by acknowledging Tibet. Nobody. So you're busted. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.